tell everybody the heartbreak story that you got. That sad and twisted lesson you had to learn.
Yeah, I'll tell it. Doesn't hurt so much anymore, but I guess I should get it off my chest.
So, in this little town of mine, there's not very many people to talk to or really to connect with outside the normal suspects. It's really difficult to hold together a life whenever everybody knows what everybody's business is, you know? So it makes it very slim pickings for, finding a girl or making new friends or anything like that. But I always was a people pleaser. I got cursed with that nice guy label. Ugh. The longer I've been laying down here in the ground, I wish I'd stopped that shit. Never paid for me in the end. But I always wanted to be a people pleaser. Never say no. No matter all the favors that would come in and people would ask me to do this or do that, and I always felt like I was pulling myself thin and like nobody appreciated the feeling of a good heart. I felt like I was always being taken advantage of, no matter how much good I was trying to do. I thought maybe being a good person would get me recognized. Hell, maybe a little bit of love. As crazy as that sounds. Never understood how the guys who act like assholes or could rough up a woman is always the ones that have the first catch, while us nice guys sit here with the bottom dwellers and the catfish. In this little town of mine, never much really went on. Except for once a year, we had our annual fair. Everybody always went to the annual fair. They absolutely loved all the lights and the festivities, and it was just something that kind of break up the monotony of life out here in the country. And in those festival lights, here she stood. Little Jackie. I swear to God, she was the small town princess. Her beautiful long hair and her beautiful eyes and the perfect skin. She was the kind of girl that you would hope you could bring home to your mom one day, Such a sweet, sweet girl. I loved her so much. And then there's her boyfriend, Buck. Straight piece of shit. The only thing Buck had going for him was Buck's daddy was the local tobacco farmer. So they were doing better than most us simple Kentucky country folk. I hated that guy so much. He's always just so arrogant and pompous. Never treated her right. Just knew I wanted to do something about it. And in those carnival lights, set a new tent off to the side, away from the Ferris wheel and the cotton candy. There's a little burgundy tint with tassels around the edges and a picture of a glass ball with an eye in the center of it. And it says, "Come in and make all your dreams come true," with a small fee. I didn't think that fee was going to be as big as it ended up being. So of course, I had to walk in. Sitting behind a table is a old man with a turban on his head and a diamond in the center of it. He looked like your quintessential fortune teller. At that point in time, my Kentucky ass should have known to turn around and walk out the door.
Come in, son. Sit a spell.
Even though everything in my gut was telling me to leave, I couldn't say no to the guy.
So I see in my crystal ball, you're tired of giving your heart away. And you want payment for every time you do.
I sat there speechless, looking at him, for I haven't even told him my name yet. And all I could do was hold back the tear, nod my head looking at him.
Well, you're in luck. For every time you give a piece of your heart, you shall have a favor returned back to you from now on. But I warn you, be careful who you give that piece of your heart to. Not all favors should be given.
As I sat there looking at the guy, I'm sure with the dumbest look on my face I've ever given, I said, "Is that it?" And he said,
Yes, son. You may leave. But understand this. This is the last free favor you're ever going to get.
as I got up from my seat and he was laughing, I got incredibly uncomfortable. Felt like he knew something that I didn't know. Come to find out, the son of a bitch did. Later on that night, I was standing by one of the $5 win a teddy bear ball games. And as I was standing there, I knocked over all my pins. And I grabbed a random stuffed bear just to appease the guy behind the counter. And as I grabbed it, little Jackie came walking up to me, jokingly said, "Is that for me?" Well, awkwardly, I didn't know what to do, so I smiled at her and I said, "Well, of course it is." And I handed her the bear. And as she stared at me with those beautiful eyes and that perfect skin underneath of that long, beautiful hair, she smiled at me and she said, "Why haven't you ever asked me out?" Well, dumbfounded, I said, "Well, I never thought you were interested in, aren't you with..." And before I could finish his name, she said, "No, I'm not with him anymore. I found out a bunch of secrets, but I think I really like you." And I didn't know if it was the sheer happiness, but I felt a pinch in my heart, almost as if something came in there with scissors and cut a little something. But foolish me, I just thought it was love. And boy, in love we were. It was the happiest I've been in a very long time, me and that girl. But, me being the nice guy, favors would just keep coming in, one after another. Hey, do you mind doing this? Hey, could you help me with that? And every time I would say, yeah. The craziest thing would happen. They would immediately repay me or do something nice in return. It was so alien to me. I didn't know how to feel, because for so long I was doing favors for people and I never got anything more than a thank you and a handshake. It was quite refreshing. But there it was. Every time I would help, I would get that same stinging feeling in my chest. It's like every time I did a favor, I felt weaker. And my chest would hurt, and it would burn. And I couldn't take it, but I just tried to keep a smile on my face, because that's what good people do. That's what good people should try to do. Weeks gone by, and I started realizing that my skin was becoming more pale, and I was feeling more and more weak. I didn't understand it. I went and saw a doctor, and they did some tests on me and said my blood pressure was low. So they gave me some medication, patted me on the ass, and sent me on down the road. I didn't feel right. I knew something was wrong. And one day, I was walking through the town. There's this little old lady. She was trying to put a big object in the back of her vehicle. And she looked at me and she said, "Do you mind doing me a favor?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, ma'am." So I walked over and picked up the heavy object and put it into the back of her car. And she smiled real big and she said, "Thank you so much. Here's a little bit of money, and I baked an extra apple pie. I'm sure you have a little lady you can share this with." And I looked at her and I said, "Thank you so much." As I took the pie from her hand, I felt that pain again in my chest, and I got weak at the knees, and I almost fainted right there in the parking lot. Luckily, I was able to catch myself on the side of the car before I hit the ground. She asked me if I was doing all right, and I said, "Yeah, I think it's this new medication I'm on." Carried on with my day. So I carried myself back home, barely being able to pick up my feet. Felt as if I was slipping away from myself. I didn't know what to do. Didn't know how to feel. It was the worst damn thing ever. I walked through the front door, and there sat my little beautiful lady. She had a troubled look in her eyes. I asked her if everything was okay. She said yes. Will you do me a favor? I said, of course. What is that, dear? She said, will you just hold me for a minute? Happily, I slid over to her, held her close. I was so happy and felt so much love. Then I felt it again in my chest. And then it all went black. The autopsy report said that pieces of my heart were just missing. Almost as if somebody was going in there and cutting out chunks of it. As I laid there on my cold autopsy table, I remembered what that fortune teller told me.
For every time you give a piece of your heart, you shall have a favor returned back to you. From now on. But I warn you, be careful who you give that piece of your heart to. Not all favors should be given.
Sad thing is, nobody even visits me anymore except for good old Dr.voodoo folk. Not even that girl next door I thought loved me so much. But at least my dying wish led me to dying in her arms. But that's my story. I'm gonna mend my broken heart and go back to sleep now. Oh, poor Billy. Yeah, that's what happens. You give yourself away. One day, you fade away. You can do the most you can, the best intentions at heart. But never expect payment. You never know. You might end up paying the ultimate price. Shit. Here he comes again. Wonder what he's got to bitch about now.
Dog. I don't see that shovel moving. I thought I told you to keep that goddamn recorder at home. Nobody wants to listen to this shit anyways.
Well, why don't you do me a favor? Fuck off. I'm always out here digging in the rain. Can't I talk to the clientele?
Listen here, motherfucker. The dead's already dead. And Billy was a bitch, just like you are. So if you want to collect that check, I suggest you start moving some dirt, boy. I don't want to hear any more yammering. About had it with you. You're lucky you're the only person that ever shows up to this godforsaken hellhole.
Yeah. Move it on, big boy. Dead ain't going nowhere. Shit. His ass should be thanking me. I'm the one who summoned that motherfucker up here to give me some help. I just thought hell would have had a higher class of demon, I guess. Well, you can't even find anybody to give you a good favor nowadays. But, like always, till next time, if there is a next time, don't forget, hell was paved in good intentions.